Hello friends, welcome to yet another video from Culture Katha. Continuing my last video on birds, in this video too, we are going to be looking at yet another fantastic bird from Indian mythology. One connected with Vishnu. Yes, you guessed right. The king of birds, Garuda. Garuda, a giant eagle, is the most famous of Indian legendary birds. Today, he is popularly identified as the Vahana of Vishnu. But the first reference we find to this divine bird is in the Rig Veda. Although the references to a giant bird are as old as the Vedas, we find the most elaborate story about Garuda only in the Mahabharata, in the Adi Parvan of the epic. According to the story from the epic, sage Kashyapa had two wives. One was Vinata, the mother of birds, and the other was Kadru, the mother of snakes. Pleased with their devotion to him, Kashyapa blessed them with progeny. Accordingly, Garuda's mother Vinata gave birth to two eggs. One was Garuda and the other was Aruna. And Kadru gave birth to 1,000 snakes. But Vinata's two sons were blessed to be more powerful than the 1,000 snakes of Kadru. Meanwhile, as the two eggs were taking too much time to hatch, Vinata lost her patience and she broke open one of the eggs. From the prematurely broken egg emerged a half-formed human baby named Aruna. Angry with her impatience, Aruna cursed his mother to become a slave and remain so until his brother from the other egg came and freed her. Aruna then left her to become the sun's charioteer who rides the chariot driven by the 7 horses. In due course of time, Garuda emerged from the egg on his own and quickly grew into a full-sized adult. Meanwhile, as cursed by Aruna, Vinata became a slave to Kadru after losing a bet with her. But Kadru's 1,000 snake sons agreed to free Garuda's mother Vinata if Garuda could fetch the Amrita or the nectar of immortality from the gods in heavens. In the story, Garuda, through his sheer strength and his ability to change form at will, managed to fetch the nectar after defeating the powerful gods and eventually freed his mother from slavery. Garuda is thus imagined as a giant bird in our mythology. And giant birds are associated with power and strength across world cultures. Garuda, according to the story from the Mahabharata, is so strong that his single feather alone could hold up all the birds along with their animate and inanimate objects. He could create huge sandstorms and even arrest the motion of the earth by flapping his wings. This is the Garuda story narrated in the Mahabharata. But this story is apparently based on a later period Vedic text called Suparna Akhyana or Suparna Adhyaya. So what does the story really tell us? What is the symbolism of Garuda? Scholars, as always, have different theories about the symbolism and role of Garuda in Indian mythology. Western scholars have likened Garuda to the fire bird from Western lore. In Greek mythology, phoenix is identified as a red color bird, or in Russian mythology as the bird of fire. Thus, the phoenix and its Western counterparts, such as the Russian firebird, are closely identified with the sun. It is true that Garuda too seems to display some aspects of the sun and the fire. If we looked at the early references to the divine bird mentioned in the Rig Veda. A few hymns in the Rig Veda are dedicated to an episode where a divine hawk called Shyena is depicted as the personification of the chandas or the lyrical meter in which shlokas are written and mantras are chanted. Incidentally, there are different types of chandas, Gayatri being the most popular one. We know Gayatri, the chandas that is used to chant the Surya Gayatri mantra. Coming back to our story, Shyena as the personification of chandas was imagined as carrying the mantras to the gods in heavens on its wings. Sometimes the hawk is also interpreted as Agni itself, and this idea is used to explain why Vedic Indians built fire altars in the form of hawks for a special yajna they performed called the Agni Chayana. As I mentioned many times before, the Vedic poetry is ridden with symbols and metaphors. So it is indeed possible that Vedic Indians visualize the smoke from the sacrificial fire rising up from the earth into the sky as a soaring bird. And imagine the sun's movement from the horizon on earth to the sky during the day as the flight of a firebird. And then they went on to give these natural phenomena forms and names. Maybe the idea for the divine bird Shena came to them from these observations. Now, yet another aspect of Garuda that comes through in the story from the Mahabharata is the bird's association with nectar and immortality. Like phoenix from the western lore that is believed to rise from its own ashes, and the sun that rises every day after setting the previous day, Garuda is also associated with immortality. In fact, in the story from the Mahabharata, Garuda is blessed with immortality by Lord Vishnu. The Rigveda narrates an episode called the Somaharana, where an eagle is described as carrying the nectar from the heavens, bringing it to Indra, who relishes the Soma. It is this celebrated Soma that is the elusive elixir of immortality. While Western scholars compare Garuda to the phoenix, Indian scholars like Dr. Sadashiv Dange have a slightly different view. According to Dr. Dange, Garuda was probably not a Vedic deity. He was possibly a non-Vedic deity who got absorbed into the Vedic fold. The key attribute of Garuda, according to Dr. Dange, is that he is the chief enemy of snakes and the remover of their poison. Well, our story from the Mahabharata also tells us the same. In the story, Garuda is shown to be the arch enemy of the snakes, and at a certain point in the story, Garuda even requests Indra to make snakes his natural food. So Shena becomes Garuda over time. But today we know Garuda is the Vahana of Vishnu. How did that happen? For the answer, we may need to look again into the Vedic myth. During the Vedic times, Vishnu was the lord of sacrifices or the yajnas, and he was believed to use the rhythm and the sounds of the mantras as his Vahana. And Shena, we have already seen, was the personification of the chandas or the meter that carried the mantra on its wings. So with time we find that Shena, who was once the carrier of mantras, becomes Garuda, the Vahana of Vishnu, who was again once the lord of yajnas or sacrifices. Garuda, interestingly, is also used as a metaphoric expression of the self or the Atman. So in Vaishnava mythology, Garuda is visualized as the self or the Jivatma, and Vishnu as the supreme self, the Paramatma. Friends, the idea of might, strength and speed that Garuda conveys is so powerful that it became part of other Indic mythologies such as Buddhist and Jaina mythologies too. Even in today's modern world, we find airlines and transport services named after Garuda. Garuda is the national emblem of Southeast Asian countries such as Indonesia and Thailand. But India has primarily used Garuda as a martial motif. A special forces unit of the Indian Air Force has been named after Garuda. And while all this happens, the idea of Garuda continues to evolve. That, my dear friends, was my short take on a few fantastic birds from Indian mythology. If you're interested in knowing more such stories of birds from Indian mythology, do check out my blog www.culturekatha.com, where I narrate the story of one more fascinating bird associated with Vishnu, the Ghandaberunda, and also explore why birds hold so much significance in our stories. The blog link is pasted in the description box below. So meet you all yet again soon with some more interesting stories from Indian culture. Till then, it's Tata, bye bye, take care.